Joining me now is Brodie Sutherland, President, CEO and Director of TocVan
Ventures.
There's the handshake right there, my friend. You're not the only one that's kind of missed it. Don't worry about it. We're going to try to get out of the taxi lane here. Might take us a little bit, but so tell me, how did this whole thing come about? You haven't been public that long, right?
We went public March of 2019, so we've been around for a few years, but...
Okay, so right before COVID.
Relatively new. Yeah, right before COVID, right before the gold market kind of had a nice run there.
It did.
Timed that well, yeah.
Okay, so you picked up the Sonora project?
Yeah.
In what year?
That was late 2019.
Okay, so right before you went public?
Yeah, and basically we formed the company, leading into 2018. Gold was suppressed. There's a lot of good projects out there that were quality, that deserved to be advanced, and we wanted to create a company that could find some of those projects and then start to move them forward again.
Okay.
And that's why we formed the company, and we found a quality asset in Pilar and Sonora.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, we kind of timed it perfectly in that run that we saw late 2020 into 2021. We basically, when we first started drilling at Pilar, and the stock went from 20 cents to $1.60, and since then, like every other gold stock, we've traded off. But we've just added value, and we're really happy with what we built there.
Okay, so let's bring it back to, let's talk a little bit about your structure there. So, how much of the company do you own?
I own just under 3%.
3%.
Yeah.
And I think there's around 50 million shares out?
Total out, yeah. And a lot of that, there's warrants that are priced all above $1.20, so there's a lot of room between where we are now.
So yeah, not a lot of overhang there.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd have to get the stock price up. You had a couple of good runs. You put out some results, and the market liked that.
For sure, yeah. I mean, we've been really fortunate, with both our projects and the team that we've got behind them, to identify and discover new areas of mineralization. And
right.
We got great shareholders, so there's an excellent base there. So if we come up with good results, we usually see that in the market.
Let's talk a little bit about your shareholders. Any institutions in there yet? Any larger shareholders that you want to talk about?
Yeah, we've got one family institution. They're out of Utah, and they're an excellent group. They own just under 10%. Then the rest out there is retail.
Retail?
Really. Yeah.
Okay.
So then, probably over half of our shareholders are based in Europe and Germany, where they have a lot of support for gold companies, and they're excellent shareholders.
German shareholders seem to be the type that hold on to a year. I think for tax reasons they do. Yeah,
they're sticky for sure, and I think when they commit to something,
they see it through.
They see it through.
Give you an opportunity to kind of prove it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so where you're exploring, it's a pretty well-known area. It's a safer jurisdiction. Do you want to talk about some of the companies that are out there doing it now?
For sure. Yeah, Sonora has such a long history of mining. And you've got big companies there. Fresnillo has some strong roots there. That's the biggest silver producer in the world, biggest gold producer in Mexico. Agnico Eagle's there, Cisco's there. Other kind of mid-tier companies, Argonaut, Mineralamos has a project really close to Pilar. Is
Equinox out there?
I don't know if they're in Sonora actually.
Okay.
Yeah, they might be more further south, but yeah, I mean, there's Silvercrest. I mean, they're developing an underground mine in Sonora. And so, I mean, yeah, there's so many big players there. Obviously, they feel comfortable, and that just makes it easier for us. Yeah.
So they will invest the big dollars if you can find it and develop it.
Exactly.
Even just find it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are let's kind of review. We're not that deep into 2023 yet. We're still in basically the first quarter.
Yeah.
Let's kind of review your 2022, the things that you did well, and maybe if you can come up with something you didn't do well. There's always setbacks.
For sure.
At the end of the day, it's a small cap company, right?
Yeah.
Things happen.
Yeah.
Let's get your review of 2022.
Yeah, I think corporate-wise, it was an excellent year for us. We saw a changeover in management. So I was, kind of VP exploration, been involved, was a co-founder of the company, but took over the role of CEO early in 2022. we had just acquired our Picacho project, so we saw some, kind of early stage development work happen on the ground there, leading us towards our first drill program. We spent a lot of time early in the year drilling at Pilar, and what was incredible there was historically a lot of the drilling, almost all the drilling, was RC, and we drilled the first successful diamond core program, and that yielded the best results ever from Pilar. So we drilled 117 meters of 1.2 grams per ton gold, and put that into context. A lot of these producers around us, the open pit developments, you're looking at an average about 0.6 grams per ton gold. So
yeah,
we're seeing a nice, well above the average there, and we just continue to build off that. We stepped out along our main zone, 125 meters, and hit 108 meters of 0.8. It was a great highlight for us. And then
you're happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, that was fantastic because it really proved our model for that project. And that's, when we looked at it, we knew that there was potential to expand it, but no one really understood how the deposit was sitting there. And we took some time to learn the structure and kind of figure out, okay, the best way to drill it. And, that yielded, some fantastic results for us. And, we built off that. What we wanted to do is, beyond our main zone in another area called 4T, there hadn't been a lot of other drilling done, exploration style. So we went and did big step outs, 600 meters further to the northeast. We hit mineralization, another parallel trend to these zones of mineralization, 325 meters away. We hit another trend there. So, we're finding more and more, and it looks like everything kind of follows this 1.2 kilometer corridor that, half of that really hasn't been tested. And so it was fantastic for us to build off of that. Unfortunate, we're putting out these results in a tough market.
Yeah.
But, I think we've just added value as we built that. And then as we came into the latter part of the year, we wanted to drill Picacho for the first time. And we have a great target there called San Ramon. We drilled 10 holes there. All 10 hit mineralization. But not all 10 came back with fantastic results. But the important thing is that 3 of those holes did, and they're well spaced apart, and showing that we've got that potential for near surface oxide mineralization again on another project. And this is right next to the San Francisco mine, so it's a great jurisdiction, right off a 4-lane highway.
Right.
So really happy with that, and that's what we like about the two projects. It's a good balance. We've got the advanced project in Pilar and Picacho just starting out. So it was an exciting year. And if I did something, I guess the
maybe
toughest
not you,
thing,
but the company.
Yeah. I think we really tried to push with marketing. Like we wanted to get our name out there, and so we've tried a lot of different avenues to do that.
Yeah.
And in a tough market, it doesn't always pan out, and it's a challenge. But I think it's all going to work for us in the long run. So we'll see.
Were you getting any shareholders that were saying, why are you spending marketing dollars, or was it just maybe looking at the stock price and going, is this thing working?
Yeah, I think everyone in the gold space is probably frustrated over the last year, and so you start to question, moves that you make, and you want to do the best with those dollars for sure. But sure. I think we've got great shareholders. I think they understand what we're trying to do and build, and I'm a younger guy. I don't have the big name that some of these companies have, so. For us, it's about getting the word out there and getting people comfortable with who we are.
Sure.
Yeah.
So quantifying your marketing dollars isn't just looking at the stock price every day or 2 weeks out, because I get that a lot, right? It's but it's like, well, you gotta educate yourself a little bit on what marketing is. Sure. It's not just, I can't tell someone to buy a stock, but you can create awareness. There's brand recognition, and when you're working with different parties, as long as they have different distribution, and you're, if an investor sees a video from different places, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, I won't go down a rabbit hole of marketing because I'm biased. But okay, so let's talk about these bulk samples that you've got.
Yeah. Awesome.
You want to run way into that?
Yeah. So we've done some preliminary metallurgical work at Pilar that's suggesting, column leach studies and bottle roll, suggesting good recovery of the gold, over 85% in a lot of cases. And that's been extremely encouraging. But what we have at Pilar is high-grade mineralization along these fault structures, and then broad low-grade mineralization in a breccia, and so that means there's some variability there.
Hold your thought, okay? Yeah. This is why we can't transcribe these videos. Words like that, you know, the AI does not pick them up. It's manual labor when you do these videos.
Got it. Yeah.
Go off.
Awesome.
Okay. So you're talking about, say it again, a breccia?
Yeah, so it's just a broken up, fragmented rock, and that's what's hosting mineralization in parts at Pilar.
Right.
And so what it means, we've got high grade and low grade. We need to figure out when you blend that, what does it look like? How do you represent that on a bigger, in an open pit kind of model in mind? And so that's where the bulk sample comes in. We're really fortunate. There's a private mining group very close to us that has the facilities to process this sample.
Okay.
And they're open to work with us, which is fantastic. And so what we're going to do is take 1,000 tons for the first sample, because it's likely we could do more in the future. Mm-hmm. But that first one's going to be 1,000 tons, so that's about 50 truckloads. That gets taken over to the other site, gets crushed, and then there's a liner. We stack all that material on top of that liner, and then we use the heap leach process, which is basically sprinkling cyanide on that, and that puts the gold and silver into solution. Mm-hmm. You capture that solution, and then it goes through a carbon filter, and you get that rough product out, and then we can determine, okay, what is our head grade? So what is the average grade that we see when we process this material, and how much of that can we actually recover?
Right, yeah. Then you get into met testing.
Then we get, that goes more into the metallurgical work. So, in tandem with this, we're doing some other studies to understand, how coarse is the gold, what percentage is hosted in oxide mineralization. That's just kind of near surface, easy to heap leach material, versus sulfide, which is usually a bit more challenging, takes more time to liberate. So just advancing that metallurgical work so we've got an understanding what's there, because ultimately our goal is to move Pilar towards development. And I know a lot of companies say they want to do that, but that's why we're in Sonora, is because it's possible. And there's companies that have done it recently that show that's possible, and the permitting there is actually quite easy.
Well, I do believe in that area. Actually, my wife and I just bought some shares of another company I interviewed the other day that's in Sonora. So I do understand that that jurisdiction. Very, very mining friendly. How much money is in the till right now in the treasury? Yeah,
we just raised $600,000 to assist with the bulk sample. The family institution that I mentioned, they have a unique model where they release capital to us on a monthly basis. So we're seeing that'll be in effect until June of 2024. So we've got support there.
Can we just talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
So they got into a private placement. They got in a fixed price?
They did, yeah.
Okay, so it's not like a debt financing?
It's not a debt financing, no.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
All right. And these are friendlies that have been in the stock for a while now?
For sure. Yeah, they've been shareholders for well over a year now, and they're fantastic people. They understand mining. They understand what we're trying to do, and the reason they have this model is it's really there to support management. They want to make sure that they have that steady release of capital available,
right?
Versus just a lump sum and hoping it works out. So they're very supportive, fantastic people, and so it just means that we're comfortable. We don't have to scramble. We're not fighting to raise funds, and historically for us, we're always very mindful when we raise capital, and that's what's maintained our share structure over the last 3+ years. And so we just raise what we need. We're confident we can always do that because we've got 2 great assets and a great team.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how things advance and move forward. Obviously, the bigger these projects get, the more cash we need to raise. But we think we're coming into a strong market in the long term that will allow us to do that. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about future plans, your outlook, and sort of some of your goals.
Yeah, for sure. So, bulk sample at Pilar is key, and then we've got a lot of infill drilling we want to do. There's never been a resource calculated at Pilar.
Okay.
And the reason we haven't done one yet is we keep finding more and more. So
Right.
we don't want to really cap ourselves too early with that. So
You'd be spending money on something that you're
Just
going to
gonna-
revise.
yeah, exactly. So lots of infill drilling and then step out at Pilar as well. I think in the future, we definitely want to expand our land position there. I think there's good potential to do that. And then looking at Picacho, it's drill. We've got a 5-year option agreement on that property. We're in year 2 right now. It's an all cash deal, and I mean already with the drilling at San Ramon, we're going to see it through to the end. But we've got so many targets we want to follow up with drilling. We'll kind of piece that in when the timing's right for us to do that. So that's kind of more in the short term, but long-term vision, it's move Pilar, tick all the boxes in terms of where we're at with permitting and environmental and that project's potential, move it towards development, and then see where we're at. But I think, we've got a lot of great neighbors around us. There's a lot of potential. We'll see what happens, but I kind of foresee in a strong market, there'll be a few people interested in what we're doing, and who knows, but we'll have that option to produce gold as well. So.
What's the sentiment right now at PDAC? You're on day 2. You're a day and a half in, basically. What's the vibe like there?
I'd say very optimistic.
Yeah,
which is good. It's refreshing.
Are you getting just random retailers coming by? Any institutional?
Yeah, I think we're getting a lot of interest in the gold space. I would say for gold, there seems to be a lot of investors kind of kicking the tires. They want to see where they want to move their money to next. And so I feel that it's very optimistic, and I think the next year is going to be interesting. Yeah, I kind of foresee the next few to 6 months could be still a bit turbulent for gold, but
sure.
I think in the long run, it's going to have a strong market here. So I think everyone's just kind of looking out for where they want to put their money next.
Yeah, I personally am looking at it as an opportunity to buy companies. Sure. That's obviously we put this out on our social medias, but I'm an investor myself, and I personally think that gold, the lid is being held on gold right now due to positive economic data that's coming out. We're looking for negative. We need rates to stabilize and to actually maybe pivot a little bit, and the U.S. dollar to come down, and gold should probably run. Inflation looks like it's going to be here a little longer than most people think. So, and then we've got a labor shortage. So it's a very unique time to try to wrap your head around it.
Totally, yeah.
But I want to thank you very much for giving us our first overview of the company.
Thanks,
and we'll be at various conferences in the world, headed to Europe and other places, so maybe we can follow up with you there.
Yeah.
And I wish you nothing but luck with your game plan this year.
Thanks, Carl. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to sign off there, and we'll catch up with you later.